What is going on in the internet world? Full disclosure, I do not know what those tests were about. I think Dr. Fauci had something to do with it or whatever, where they slit the vocal cords of these dogs and put them in a box and had them eaten alive by these flies. Don't know what the test was for. I want you to think about something, though. Just think about this for a second, okay? These scientists cut the vocal cords so they would not have to hear the agony that these dogs were going through. Is anything worth that? Anything at all? I can think of maybe a handful of scenarios, but one thing that I would do is I wouldn't cut the vocal cords. If you're going to do that amount of evil because you think the ends justify the means, you're going to have to hear it. You're going to have to own it. If you think the ends justify the means. I personally can't think of anything in my head of what that test would accomplish at the end of the day. But testing on animals and stuff, there's some scenarios where, okay, I get it. But let me float out the hypocrisy about this whole ordeal. I'm on Facebook. I don't comment too much on things, but I scroll social media. I'm seeing a lot of defense for this, but I'm also seeing a lot more outrage. Outrage coming from individuals who are totally for abortion, for instance. What is wrong with society that there's more outrage over an animal's life versus a human's life? And I'll tie this in with late-term abortion, right? We all know what it is. The term pro-life, pro-choice is a semantic overload. Okay, so late-term abortion is definitely killing a child. Period. It's not a clump of cells, although us humans, that's all we are, is a clump of cells. But it's not a clump of bacteria. It's not an earthworm. It's nothing like that. It's a human child. There is more outrage over these dogs than there is over the late-term abortion of children. Are we as a society really that sick? Are we that far gone? Really? Go on, buddy. Well, I wasn't really talking to you, but go on. Go on with it. So, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a blue-collared worker. Maybe I'll look into it, but honestly, I really don't care. What ends for doing that to a dog is there that just justifies that? I don't get it. It's evil. It's pure and utter evil. The same as late-term abortion is pure and utter evil. And it's very hypocritical. It is. And it does make me sad thinking about those dogs. It does. I mean, think about that. Think about the torture. You can't even cry out in pain. And why else would you cut the vocal cords other than to try to mask what it is that you're doing to these poor animals? That way you don't have to hear it. It's disgusting. It's nasty. It's pure and utter evil. The same with late-term abortions. Pure and utter evil. However, abortions piss me off more. Because yes, I think the human lives are definitely worth more than animals. Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt. I am sick and tired. Sick and damn tired of these evil acts being treated like it is nothing. Like it is just normal everyday life. And I'm sick and tired of the hypocrisy of being outraged over one and not the other. Tired of it. We as a human race know better. We know better. You don't need religion to tell you that this is evil. You don't need me telling you that this is evil. You know in your heart of hearts what is right and what is wrong. Everybody does. It's ingrained in our DNA. We know what we're doing. I'm at a loss of words. Are we really that far gone? Is that real? It's not a conspiracy anymore. We as a society are just that disconnected of what right and wrong is. I don't know. I try to be optimistic as much as I possibly can, but given the news and everything that's going on, I've lost it a little bit, guys. I've lost my optimism. If the ends justified the means, if I was the head scientist or anything like that, I would decree that under no circumstance are you to cut the vocal cords of these animals. The ends really justified the means. We are going to hear the utter hell of what's going on. You're not going to mask it. And then decide if you want to do this or not. Being that they chose to cut the vocal cords of these animals tells me that the ends does not justify the means. Because if it did, you'd be able to own it. You'd be able to listen to it. I don't know, guys. Is that really where we're at? I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's hard. I do like seeing the outrage of it. I just wish that the outrage would also, from that side of the political aisle would trickle just a smidge over in the direction of that human life, my life, the life of my future children matter just as much. Just as much. And I understand with the abortion that there are some times that the ends do justify the means. Sometimes. That's not what we're talking about here. I'm talking about it as a blanket, okay? Talking about it as a blanket. The individuals who are shouting their abortion in pride and joy. Those are the same people that are disgusted with this behavior with the dogs. And I'm like, okay, I'm on the same page with you. But I would like to see a little bit more compassion for human life. I don't know, guys. Maybe we are just truly that far gone, and the Great Reset's really going to happen. What side of the fight are you going to be on during the Great Reset? Tough decisions are going to have to be made. I don't know. all I can say is, fuck that shit that happened to them dogs. Sad and disgusting. And fuck late term abortion. I love y'all.